Promineo Tech Front-End Bootcamp Final Project React Router DOM with an API. I used mock API. For my router, I used index in order to, when you return to the home, which is slash, well, home is the home page, but slash sends you to app, which immediately then uses the index to load in the home page, which is a fairly simple component. The app itself has navigation and outlet so that this navbar, which is a simple bootstrap navbar, it will display over all of the pages. The home page is just a container with some styling and content inside, and buttons that send you to the same pages as the navigation buttons. Elixirs is spelled wrong. This is a static page. I was using it mostly to fill out the navbar so it looked nicer, as well as it fit the theme of the project. The recipe list, however, is where we actually get started with the functionality, which you could see the spinner as it loaded in. I was using a spinner through Bootstrap. I use the base URL with mock API to fetch and then map them. I also have a filter function now that I use state to determine which effect I'm filtering by. I separated it out into a separate component so it wouldn't clog the recipe list itself. And this just takes the value of the selected and sends it back into the filter, which it then maps through those. The recipe cards take in the recipe as a prop and use it to create the component, including the recipe ID, which brings it to the details page with the edit and delete functions. Add a recipe has the state in order to gather the new information and post it. And you can see that as I typed it in, it updated the state. Now let me just fill in the rest of this real quick. Now that I have all my new information in state, when I click the submit button, it will post it to the main API. It was correctly added, and it's now here, and I can click to view the details based on the ID that the API generated for it. For this, it fetches based on the ID using useParams, which I also use for the edit recipe in order to fill out the same state as the add used with already default values. And then I can go ahead and change some things and change some things here. And then I can save my changes and it drops me back out to the main page. But if I want to see, I could see that the card ingredients already were changed to the Swift Violet. If I decided that I didn't want to keep my changes, hitting the cancel button would send me straight back out to the details page where I could continue looking at the recipe. For delete, I decided to use a modal since that was pretty easy to do. Click cancel to change your mind and stop. Otherwise, clicking delete will take in the ID through a prop and use the delete function of the API to remove it. That is my CRUD app with mock API and React Router DOM.